Hello everyone, I'm Braun Mithra. Today we're going to talk about Killennium Butcher. I said I was going to do this live unboxing. I tried to do the live unboxing. I do live stream Kingdom Death, currently live streaming all my Gambler's Chest plays. But I was going to live stream the unboxing just like I just did for Black Knight. Black Knight was a live stream. You can go watch if you want to see everything about Black Knight. But this is going to be a Let's Talk. Normally I do these edited, normally I do these with Jay and everything. But there was outages in my area, so I couldn't stream, but I'm just going to start recording, so it's just going to be a regular video today. But this is normally how it looks when I stream, not when I record. So, let's go ahead. Let's talk about Killennium Butcher, the new vignette from Kingdom Death. So, I have all stuff here ready to go. I do want to talk about building the Killennium Butcher a little bit. So I'm going to build him a little bit different than probably what you're going to do. But if you'll see here, there's this little centipede on him, on his back here. His cape actually goes directly to the base here. There's actually this neat giant stone face that's all over his base. In the shop and everything, you'll see this. The base is normally all covered in corpse piles and stuff. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fill this all in, raise this up with green stuff and stuff, and I'm just going to use him on his thing. I'll putty these up, hodgepodge all this stuff, paint this up, fill this all up, and I'm not going to use him on his thing, on his corpse pile. But I just wanted to mention that the Killennium Butcher itself, I would definitely, for sure, build him separate from his base, because see the back of his cape here is all one piece, and then he does go right to his cape and onto the base of the corpse pile and all that stuff. So I would start with the base and get it to a point like this. Remember, this centipede here will go over the cape. So before, and then you do all your corpse piles and everything. Just like I mentioned with Black Knight. Wanted to touch on some of the stuff for building the mini itself. So, what is a vignette? Well, the only other vignette that was currently released is the Giga Lion. So with vignettes, you get these vignette little survivor grids right here. The lets you play, it's like a one-off. In this instance, it's a level 2 butcher with some changes. But it will be, you can use it as like a one-off if you own the core game. Remember, you do need to own the core game, so you'll need access to butcher and a lot of cards in there. Now, with the Giga Lion, all the survivors had gear that exists. With this, the Killennium Butcher, these survivors have gear that is only available to this vignette, meaning that there's gear that's on here that's just here. You do not get card versions of some of this gear, which is kind of, it's not surprising. It happened with it happened with Black Knight as well. In the Squire vignette, they also have gear that you don't get inside the expansion, but it is interesting because I know when I was waiting for Killennium Butcher and everything, we just assumed it would be like Giga Lion, but it is not. So you will not get all the gear you will see. A lot of it does exist. A lot of it's from current expansions. We'll go over all of the vignette survivors, the gear grids. You also get vignette survivors themselves, each of their cards. You can see here. I'll start showing them. This is Brave. You can see up here is the year. So this is taking place 16, which is why this is a Lantern Year, or Butcher 2, because it is Lantern Year 16. You'll have access to Dodge, Encourage, and Dash. No Surge, which is interesting. Then you have all your survival here, your courage, the armor points, and the insanity points that they have. Even though their gear grid should or may give them more, you'll see down here we have Brave being Quixotic and Stalwart. And then you get each of them will have their story. So then you've got Forgot here. Same deal. Same exact stuff. No access to Surge. Red. No access to Surge. Hollow, who's an interesting character here for lore-wise. She's got all kinds of things. She has this Empty Vessel Survivor status cards. You cannot gain bleeding tokens. If you would suffer a severe injury, instead ignore it and lose 1 armor at all hit locations. When you have no armor points remaining at all, you cease to exist. Very interesting little survivor status for Forgot there. Now let's, the gear grids themselves also give you access. If you saw there with Forgot and her gear, the card for Dragon Armor is included in this. So you will get both of the dragon armor, or well, you get the double-sided card with both the male and female versions of the art and everything. And this is the same exact thing you will get in Dragon King. So this card is just included. It's likely included because the Gorm armor was not included with the Giga Lion. So good to include the sets you would need. You've also got the Vagabond armor, which is the exact same Vagabond armor that was in Beyond or Before the Wall. I can't remember exactly what it is. Unfortunately, even with Vagabond armor, you cannot use Vagabond armor if you have the card pack, because the Vagabond armor here does require the this gear, which is not from the 1.6 card pack. However, the cuirass, the leather cuirass, and the cloth leggings were in the card pack. Now, you don't need them to use it anyway. You only need these 4, but if you do have the card pack and you don't have this one or the White Dragon Gauntlets, both of these were included in the other Aya white box. If you don't have those, I guess you could probably still use this if you wanted to. It's still fun to use if you do own the card pack, just to have Vagabond armor, even without the tabard. So, you could substitute something else for it, but you will not be able to use it if you have the card pack. Next, we have 2 strain milestones that still come with this. I'm not going to show the strain milestones, but they are not too dissimilar from the Giga Lion one. The Giga Lion one was play the Vignette. Play the white Giga Lion Vignette and win, and then you unlock Giga Lion. This is a very similar. I'll read the exact wording on it. Is when you do this, I won't say exactly what it is for spoilers, but you may now face the Killennium Butcher in your campaigns. It replaces the level 2 and level 3 of the Butcher Node 1 Nemesis. So, Killennium Butcher going forward will be, if you decide to use it, your level 2 and level 3 Butcher encounters or Nemesis encounters will always be replaced with the Killennium Butcher. We'll talk about that. Lots to talk about with that. But this is a big, nice, big, thick rule book for the Vignette here. Very, very, very interesting. There's a lot of stuff here to talk about. This, I would say, the stuff that's included in here, this is like pretty much like a comic or like a manga, right? That's exactly what you're going to get here. All kinds of cool stuff. It's a very, very lore story heavy, way more so than the Giga Lion. Let's see. There's of just story here. You're going to have multiple endings. So of just story, we have one. How many pages is this? So it's 35-page rule book. Let's count the pages that aren't. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So of those 35, 7 of them are rules. All the rest is going to be story, which is super cool. Really neat. I'm not going to spoil all this here, but I will show it a little bit. So as you can see, it starts with this. You're going to get full art, the entirety of this. All your stories for all your Vignette survivors, what they're doing, all that stuff. And then you're going to have the special showdown, which we will run as the Vignette, plus the endings. So there's multiple endings, right? How you get them. Then you're going to have the regular showdown. This will be the one that when you use for replacement for the Butcher, you'll be in there. Then you'll have all your endings and the new rules, plus we'll talk about the specialization. So let's look at the actual Butcher itself. It's got its whole little thing here. Let's go. Here's all the Butcher cards. So as I said, you'll have the Vignette itself, which you can get multiple endings from. You're going to have to play it twice to do the 2 strains. The Vignette itself needs to be done twice to do the 2 strains. What you actually get for the Butcher is you're going to get a new strange resource. This will be a strange resource. You can see up here on the top, it actually has the Killennium Butcher crest. This is Cold Living Flesh, Orion. Archive this to roll 1d10. On a 1, the flesh expands and devours you alive. Dead. Otherwise, the strange mat adopts to your malformed structure. Remove one of your permanent injuries. So this is similar to the living hunk of flesh that you used to get anyway from the regular butcher. Now it's just a strange resource. You're going to have new butcher AI cards. So here's the data card for the Killennium Butcher. There is no level 1 variant. On the back side, he's got himself a brand new basic action. So very neat. Totally different than Butcher. Again, no level 1 version. Now for his... He has an AI card. Now this AI card that's included, this is a true name. This is a advanced AI card. Regular Butcher AI card. This will go... You can include this in your Butcher deck. There's no rules saying that you don't include this in your Butcher deck forever going forward. It has the Butcher crest, unlike these other ones. See right here? This is, you can clearly see this is a Killennium Butcher crest. This is a regular Butcher crest. So while sorting things, this does not get sorted. So this is something that your butchers will be able to do from now on. So, true name. Survivor with the fewest lunacy tokens. Intimidate target. The monster speaks your name. Suffer 3 brain damage and erase your name or die. If you are quixotic, you cannot erase your name. It's quite the AI card for regular butchers to get. Let's look at... this is a strain. So the strain milestone itself is where you get the new terrain. So the new terrain that you get... I'm not going to show it. It's kind of spoilery. But there is a new terrain token. So 2x2. There it is. New terrain token. It's part of the strain milestones. It ends one of the stories. So I'm not going to show it. It's not like something super crazy, right? It's a fun little terrain. It gets added permanently to your game. It's something that you'll always see going forward once you do it. Trust me, I would, if it was something that would give you like the Cleaver proficiency or something. If it gave you the cold flesh, I would mention it. It's just thematic. So, Scorn. This is a new Butcher trait. Not a Killennium Butcher exclusive. It doesn't matter because these special cards, they're only added to Butchers when, like, by Showdown setup. That's the only way these special cards are added. But again, these are just regular Butcher cards, so you can include them with all your Butcher stuff. The Killennium Butcher devours the intensity of passion from the very air. As it grows stronger, survivors suffer these chilling effects for each +1 damage token the monster has. So 1, 2, or 3, and then it just says here. So if it's +1 damage token, it has -1 accuracy. All survivors will have that. 2, all survivors will also have -1 movement. 3+, where is it? 3+, at the start of your act, you gain either 1 movement or 1 activation, but not both. Ignore this effect if you are frenzied. So Scorn is the main trait of what makes a Killennium Butcher like a Killennium Butcher. It even includes this neat thing here. So you can put Scorn here on the side, and then you put the tokens here and they accumulate in. It's a little reminder. This is nice. A nice little thing to add to your table. You could just run it with the card if you want, but it is nice that they included the little insert that reminds you. Then we have Self-Aware, the new trait. Another new trait, I mean. At the start of each monster turn, reveal the top cards of the AI deck. If it is a basic card, discard it. At the end of each monster turn, perform basic action. So, Self-Aware. Then there is a new trap card for the Killennium Butcher. Now, the Killennium Butcher itself, for Scorn, I believe, and for this trap, there are rules to not always include these. So even though they have the back as a regular Butcher, it needs to be the back needs to be a regular crest. Because you need to be able to shuffle it and not be able to see that it's coming. But it is a new trap. So, trap. Reshuffle the hit location deck. All survivors are doomed. The Killennium Butcher's coursing rage causes a sharp drop in temperature. The cold is shocking. All survivors within 3 spaces of the monster suffer bash unless they are wearing fur gear. An anonymous chill or an ominous chill rises from the ground. All knockdown survivors are frozen with fear. They suffer monster-level brain damage and cannot stand for any reason until the end of the next monster turn. Perform basic action targeting the attacker. Pretty bad. Pretty bad trap to have happen to you. Buff to fur gear. It's kind of like insulated and stuff. Interesting. So those are all the new cards that actually modify how the Butcher plays. Now, the other thing is included in this, besides for the cold living flesh or whatever it was, you'll get the Cleaver specialization and Cleaver mastery. So these are listed as novel weapon proficiencies. Oh, I got this. So these are novel weapon proficiencies. They don't work the same way as the sword one we saw for Willow. Let me see if I can read the rules here exactly. So novel weapon proficiency. Novel weapon proficiencies allow survivors to grow their skills with unusual weapons types. These weapon types may not be normally selected to accumulate weapon proficiency levels. Only remarkable circumstances inspire survivors to train with these weapons. After the harrowing battle, victorious survivors of the Killennium Butcher's onslaught may choose Cleaver as their weapon type and gain levels of weapon proficiency with this novel weapon. Mastering novel weapon types does not confer any benefits to the other survivors in the settlement. It's a huge thing to say. So when we talk about what this mastery is, it does not become an innovation, right? Not all survivors are going to be able to use Cleaver specialization. It's a buff to family, makes novel proficiencies really interesting. Might be something you would see like Twilight Sword might be like considered like a novel, because that also doesn't become an innovation when it gets mastered. When survivors gain novel weapon proficiency, they may select this weapon type and accumulate weapon proficiency ranks as normal. So let's talk about weapon specialization. There's going to be I'll edit this in. It's the one benefit of not doing it exactly live. I can edit the graphic. So here you go. There's a clarification that went up on the FAQ for the website. Bloodglass Cleaver and the original Butcher's Cleavers are Cleavers. No mention of Scleaver from Gambler's Chest. So Scleaver is not a Cleaver, but Bloodglass Cleaver. No mention of Cruel Cleaver, because Cruel Cleaver in the Gambler's Chest already had Cleaver as a weapon type. So, and again, no mention of the other ones, because those already have Cleaver as well. So even though they don't have the Cleaver keyword, the original Butcher's Cleavers and the Bloodglass Cleaver from from Gambler's Chest are Cleavers. There's the thing. Now let's talk about Cleaver specialization. Cleaver specialization. As you can see, this is Killennium Butcher, has a crest there. It's only something you can get from Killennium Butcher. You need to defeat a Killennium Butcher to get this. Cannot select this as normal. I mean, you could always play that if you wanted to just have fun, but you cannot select this like normal. That means anything that would switch your weapon proficiency, that would have you drawing from the deck randomly. So, for example, the Statue Hunt event, or Elganurk running into you and changing your proficiency. If you were to change from being you would not add this to your random draws. That's what the novel thing means. Same with Twilight Sword and same with Katana. They're not added to your random draws. So here we go. Specialization for Cleaver. You can use Cleaver proficiency while frenzied. So it's just subconscious. That's neat. When attacking with a Cleaver, ignore one wound reaction during that attack. Now, you're probably wondering, like, having this. So the specialization, you can use Cleaver proficiency while frenzied. That means you can't use weapon proficiencies. That's what it says. But this one is like special above that. So this would allow you to still gain proficiency levels when you reach the aftermath and are frenzied. You'd still gain your points since you can use the proficiency. When attacking with a Cleaver, ignore one wound reaction during that attack. So, this is interesting. When attacking with a Cleaver, ignore one wound reaction during that attack. So, if you saw the count gear, where do I have it? I think, hopefully, do I have it here? Yes, count armor. Here we go. Look at this. You get to see some Black Knight stuff too. So, these are basically the same, even though, because I got this now confirmed with Taste. I spoke with Taste about this. When you attack with a melee weapon, If it is not your first attack this round, cancel any wound on hit locations drawn. This is the same as specialization for this, right? Even though this says any reaction wound, and this says ignore one wound reaction, they're both the same thing. Cancel and ignore. Just those aren't mechanically the same, but these read exactly the same. Any means one. Any of them means when you select one, you can cancel anyone you want with no restrictions. This is, again, no restrictions. So it's interesting that these two things were released together, same exact time, and have totally different wording, but are effectively exactly the same. Super interesting. So that's the specialization. Here's the mastery. At the end of the attack with a cleaver, suffer the frenzy brain trauma. So you're going to have multiple frenzies when you're mastered, which is kind of crazy. When attacking with a cleaver, if you draw the trap, discard 5 other drawn hit locations to cancel the trap and shuffle it back into the deck. Now, when you shuffle a deck, this was also confirmed, when you shuffle a deck, anytime it tells you to reshuffle a deck, it means you're shuffling both the discard and first, any revealed cards are turned face down. So any revealed cards turn face down, then you shuffle the draw deck and the discard deck together. That's what happens when you shuffle. You don't just shuffle the remaining, you don't just shuffle, the remaining cards in the draw deck. You reshuffle everything. Whenever you're told to shuffle a deck, you reshuffle it as you were restoring it new. So, that's how those work. Interesting stuff. Next, let's talk about the Vignette survivors. We'll talk about the cleavers. So, when you defeat the Killennium Butcher, you're going to get the Killennium Cleaver. There are 2 included. So, these have the Cleaver weapon types. You can see here, Cleaver. They're paired. They're the same thing. 2 speed, 4+ accuracy is pretty good. You're going to be gaining a lot of speed with these, especially if they're paired, because you're going to be getting +1 speed because whenever you attack with Frenzied. 5 strength is a little bit low, but +4 strength when attacking with this if you are frenzied. So, neat. Frenzy will also give you speed and strength. So the speed can go up, but it's just a little bit low, but not too bad. Pair these together, get 4 speed. You want to hit that 5 speed mark for the mastery. So these aren't too bad. Would have been nice if these could have paired with the Butcher's Cleaver. That would have been neat. Too bad it doesn't say that. It should say may pair with Butcher's Cleaver. Then this would be great. Because you're still going to fight a level 1 in your campaign. And that one might give you Butcher's Cleaver. And then after that, you're always going to fight a level 2 and 3. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to fight the level 2 and 3 Killennium Butchers. And then you get 1 Cleaver per kill. So you won't get both of these from 1 kill. So you're going to have to kill the level 3 before you get the second one. So it would have been nice if you wanted to pair these to been able to pair it with an original Butcher's Cleaver. That would have been cool, but these are still pretty neat. Now, these other things, we're going to talk spoilers now. So, before I go into spoilers, I'm not going to talk about the whole comic. I'm not going to show the whole comic. But I'm going to talk about the other gear, and then we're going to talk all about the vignettes. So, the rest of this video will be spoilers after this. So, I'm going to wrap it up for those who don't want spoilers. So, Killennium Butcher. First off, it is 90 USD. It is still on the shop. I personally think Killennium Butcher is great. Now, I think Killennium Butcher is really, really good, right? Because of all this story and all this lore. It's really fascinating. Lots of cool stuff to talk about with all this. I'm going to do a lore video about all this stuff that's in here. There is so much to talk about. So much. I don't know when exactly I'll get to doing that, but I will talk about Aya. Aya is included in here, along with Lori, the archivist. She's also included in here. So lots of cool stuff to talk about. Brave's a whole new character. Very cool. Love Brave. Hollow, whole new character. So there's lots of tyrant lore you'll get in this. Just lots of Kingdom Death setting and world building is in here. Lots of Kingdom Death setting and world building. That alone does not sell it. If it was just that, I really love that. But even if it was just that, I still don't think it would sell it. However, the Killennium Butcher looks so sick. The Killennium Butcher itself looks so cool. Granted, I'm not going to use the corpse pile, but I still think the 3x3 still looks really cool. The mini looks great. Now, the other 4 minis, the Vignette Survivor minis, they are very unique, but they are very cool. They are great sculpts. One, having Aya sculpt, that's always great. Having an Archivist sculpt, always great. Now, the thing I'll mention about the Archivist sculpt, mine does not have her glasses on. Even though the shop shows her with glasses, the mini doesn't have glasses that I could find. Nowhere on the sprue, nowhere nothing. So if you don't go looking for it and stress yourself out. From what I can see, no one has found it. I asked around, no one sees it on the sprue. It doesn't look like her glasses are there. Not that big of a deal, just saying that so you don't worry about it and freak out or go nuts looking for it. So there's that. But still, she's super cool. Hollow is a super cool sculpt. Brave is the most versatile sculpt of all. Brave looks so cool. Brave you could probably use all the time. Now, the other sculpts are really great. Like the Killennium Vignette, I always said that the sculpts in there are really good. Like the one Gorm one, there was, what was it? The Gorm with the huge axe, with the Gorm axe. He looks so cool. Then there was also Gadrock, super cool. And then there was Brechia, which was the girl with the lantern. They're all cool, right? The pigtailed girl. Super cool. These in here, they're more specific because they're actual characters from lore, right? It's hard. You're going to have an Archivist. Not really going to be able to use, since I mentioned with the gear grids, we'll talk about them. The gear, you're not going to be able to get the gear from this thing. So you're not going to have like a need to represent an Archivist out on your table. But it's still cool if you have a Survivor with records. Maybe you have a Scout with records or something like that. Aya, super cool. But again, for me, Aya is so representative of Aya. I'm not really going to be using her for all my fights all the time because I use my minis to represent the character I'm playing and the weapons I'm using and stuff like that on the board while I'm playing. So there's always going to be that differential. So unlike the Killennium, where those survivors were very versatile, their gear grids were great, and you'd probably, if you were going to go down using Gorm, you're probably going to end up using whatever his name is. I forget his name now. Basalt, right? Hungry Basalt, yeah, that was his name. Or like Brechia and stuff, you'd end up using them. These are much less versatile, but the 10th anniversary survivors did release with this. Those are hugely versatile survivors. So at least for me, these aren't as versatile, but still, I think this is great. I actually thought it would be a little bit more than what it was. It's 90 USD. I was expecting maybe 100, 110 USD. So I think it's very worth it, but I could totally understand where you might want to skip this, especially if you don't like Butcher. If you don't like fighting Butcher, I would not get this, like, at all, because it doesn't change that much about the fight. It just makes it harder and makes Butcher bigger. Makes him a 3x3 instead of a 2x2. And it's not a replacement for your original Butcher, right? So you're still going to have the 2x2 Butcher. But if you don't like Butcher, don't get it at all. But if you like Kingdom Death lore, the book is so crazy. I'm going to talk about videos about it and all, so you can just watch the videos, I guess, if you just only want to hear the lore about it and stuff. But Cleaver Mastery, Cleaver Specialization's neat. Having something to do with Cleavers is cool. Novel Proficiency is cool. The gear grids and stuff that are included in the Vignette Survivors are super cool. Getting to see all the gear they have. The lanterns that I'll show you now are cool. So that's it. Now we're going to talk about the vignettes, and we're going to go into spoilers. Or the Vignette Survivors themselves, but that's my thoughts on Killennium. Let's talk about huge spoilers now. So, let's do the Vignette Survivors first. So, here's the Vignette Survivors. First, we have Hollow here. Here's her grid. You can see she's got a dragon stuff. She's got dragon mantle, dragon helm, dragon gloves, dragon boots, dragon belt. Those are the same that are in the Dragon King expansion. She's also got Sacrificial Fang, which is a new weapon. The Sacrificial Fang is like nowhere in anything, not that I remember. She just has this. The Green Ring was from Spider, and the Stoic Mask is also brand new. Accessory, cursed, on arrival, gain the Empty Vessel Survivor status. This is really neat. I wish we would have had this like as an actual thing, an actual gear to use and stuff, but we don't. Birdbread's Phoenix, that's core. Very cool. And then Sacrificial Fang, the first time you wound with this each round. Add +1 to each hit location. Very cool. Very thematic. It's probably why they don't want to really give out all this stuff, but would have been nice. Would have been cool. Here's Aya. She's going by Red. She's got the Photophore. That's the lantern she gets from the Nightmare Ram in the back of her book, in the core book, the back of the rule book. That's her Aya's comics, Aya's origin comic. Then all this other stuff. The hard breast, those are her white box stuff, plus the leather skirt. This is just the Vagabond stuff, so neat. She's got this Protean Charm. Weapons in your gear grid gain all weapon type keywords. That is really cool. I think this is also a substitute. So when Aya was first released in the Promos of Death, she had a promo like little one shot that she had where she was running from a greedy antelope because it stole her necklace. And then it would just reward you a monster tooth necklace because, because it was just something for core and Protean Charm wasn't in there. But I think this is representative of the greedy antelope stealing her necklace. This was probably always what it was meant to be, the Protean Charm. This makes much more sense to go kill yourself or to risk killing yourself, hiding from a greedy antelope solo, trying to steal this back than a monster tooth necklace would. So that's cool. Nice lore stuff. Survival Spear. This was a beta gear that is now changed. This was with Summer Aya. It used to give fresh kill. It doesn't give fresh kill anymore. The strength has increased by 1, and the affinities have moved around. So neat to see a return of beta gear. However, again, none of this stuff you can actually get. Next we have Brave here, who has Brave Sword, Cobbled Vamp Braces, Brave Shield, Cobbled Placard, Heart of a Hero, Cobbled Folds, Life Elixir, Cobbled Greaves, and Bandages. His gear grid is super cool. All this stuff is all new. I have no idea where this cobbled stuff will come from. Maybe it's from, who knows what this is from? Maybe it's from Ram, maybe it's from Screaming God, maybe it's from nothing. But he's got Heart of the Hero. Survivors may encourage you while you are standing. When you are encouraged, gain a heart token. So, spend a heart token to gain 3 strength the next time you attack. That's the ability of the Vamp Braces. So, and there's no limit on the Vamp Braces. Whenever you spend the token, you can gain strength. It's not even limited to when you can spend it. It just says spend a heart token to gain +3 the next time you attack. So it's just before you do your attack, before you start attacking, you need to spend those tokens. But you can spend them whenever you want, except when you're doomed. But then he's got the Brave Shield. At the end of your act, you may spend a heart token to perform Block 2 without spending an activation. So that's really neat. Cool stuff. Next, the placard is at the start of your act. If you have 3+ heart tokens, gain 1 survival. So very neat. Brave's a cool little build. Next we have Forgot. She's got Tattered Archivist Robe, Lori's Lenses, Locking Tomb, and Memento Blade. Everything else from her is already in the game. The Gloom Green Braces, Lantern Greaves, Lantern Cuirass, Lantern Mail. So, Tattered Archivist Robe is an accessory at the start of your act. If you are not insane, gain 1 insanity. Really good. Then Lori's Lenses, at the start of your act, place the top card of the hit location discard on top of the monster's hit location deck. So, very neat. Where's the next? Locking Tomb. Agitate the Tomb. End your act. Memory Lock. So Memory Lock's a story event from the book. You'll see it in there. The Memento Blade. After attacking with this weapon, reveal the top 3 cards of the hit location deck. Discard up to 2 non-trap hit locations. Place remaining cards on top of the deck in any order. So, very neat. That's all the Vignette survivors. So, now spoilers. Let's talk about the remaining gear that's in this. So, here we go. Spoilers for the remaining gear that's in this. We have Forgot's Light. This is a Lantern Trophy. So, when you defeat the Killennium Butcher, he drops Lantern Trophies. These are rare gear that you get as reward for Lantern Trophies. Forgot's Light. Sentient Activation Limit 3. Place the top card of the hit location discard pile on the hit location deck. So as you can see, plays much like the way she plays. Hollow's Light. This is another Lantern trophy. -1 evasion. If you have 6 green, basically, ignore the first severe injury each round you suffer. Again, plays a lot like her. Red's light. During the aftermath, gain +1 weapon proficiency if applicable. Very good. Like her stuff being all the weapons and things, she just gains any type of weapon proficiency she wants if you wounded with that weapon type. So you need to be eligible for it to gain an extra. Brave's Light, another Lantern trophy. When you are encouraged, gain +1 strength token, limit once per round. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. This pairs specifically well with the new thing we got in, was it the Vignettes? Yes, Earl's Armor. Look at that. Double any bonuses gained by other survivors when you encourage. So again, this is Black Knight. Works well with this. Very cool stuff. Very cool indeed. So that is all of the Killennium Butcher. Sorry I couldn't stream. I know I wanted to. Outages in my area, but here's the video. Again, thank you so much for watching. Go and stop by, join the stream. I've been streaming Gameless Chess for a long time. I also stream King Best Sim on Saturdays. This is normally what it looks like when I'm streaming. Again, got this video out. Going to do the Killennium Butcher. Going to do the Squire campaign. Those will be edited videos. Going to continue to stream Saturday nights for Glorman. Arcadium Sim survival or settlement. So, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you got your Killennium Butcher. Hopefully you find it enjoyable. I think it's great. And I'll see you in the next video.